Hey guys, tonight we're diving into one of our subscribers, his story. I love bringing you guys on to share your story. I feel like it helps other people, with their addiction problems and overcoming their obstacles. And some people have some really deep stories that I think that can really inspire. So tonight's going to be raw and real, and we are going to get down to some rock bottom stuff. He has been addicted to alcohol. There has been pills involved. There has been times where alcohol has almost taken his life. And we want to see where he started and now where he is at. He's over 30 days sober. So I want to welcome Mark on to our stream tonight. And here he is. And so, Mark, give us a little bit about your background. Like you started drinking in your teens and it kind of just like led the way from there.
Yes. So first of all, thank you, Jonathan, for having me on. This
Thank
should be
you.
fun. And just a short, long of the story. I started drinking regularly about 15. I always grew up around alcohol. As a kid, me and my brother would raid my parents' liquor cabinet when they weren't around. But as I got into high school, then we got into parties. And even then, I should have realized something was a little different with me because my friends were getting drunk off of like 6 beers, 8 beers, and I'm having 12 to 15.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And at a very young age, I was able to hold quite a bit. So from there, it kept going till, my senior year in high school. I had some group of friends. We got together every single weekend, played N64 with either a couple cases of beer or a bottle of vodka. And then that just stemmed into college, which obviously opens up the door even more.
Yeah.
I joined a fraternity. That was the end of it for that. Just no focus on academics, straight drinking, a little bit of drugs. I actually got a nice little letter saying that I was not allowed back in college because of my grades. And it happened to be the exact same day that I faked my way into an engineering firm.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. I learned how to talk to people, and I hid everything, and hired me right on the spot. But now you're giving a young person with a problem a little bit of money. So, and I was still living in the fraternity house. So that went to, I was going to work, hungover, calling in late. I did get a couple reprimands a few times, but nothing really serious. And then I left that job, moved to the next closest city, and I'm from New York. So I moved from Buffalo to Rochester, got a better job, making more money. It just kept snowballing. And somehow my professional career kept increasing. And the only thing that did was increase my intake and the quality of intake. I started to make, I knew I had a problem at that point, but I was young. So it didn't really affect me as much until I hit probably about 32 to 35. That's when it spiraled. So I quit my job that I was doing. I was a traveling sales rep, hated it. I was out of town 4 or 3 weeks out of the month, living in hotels, obviously going to bars to eat and drink. It wasn't for me. I ballooned up. You could tell that I had a problem. And I looked like the typical alcoholic, red face, balloon.
Purple
looked in
nose.
the mirror. Close, right in the crutches there. At 34, 35 years of age. A lot of damage. So I decided, well, I really don't want to follow other people's way and make them money. I started my own business. With that came a substantial amount of money and a substantial amount of lack of responsibility and structure because I was my own boss. So I started out with Champagne Friday to celebrate. Celebrate every Friday, Champagne's Friday. That led to drinking Saturday. And
Yeah.
then that led to Sunday Fun Day. And then we might as well just have a couple in the morning on Monday to get the week going, because I'm my own boss. I make my own hours. If I don't get out of bed till 10 in the morning, whatever. Then after a couple of very successful years, it got out of control. I was drinking almost all day, every day, very hard.
And your body depended on it at this point?
Yes. If I didn't have it, first thing in the morning, I was shaking. I couldn't barely make it to the bathroom to throw up.
Oh.
I couldn't eat for 2 or 3 days afterwards unless I had more drinks. But I also involved another substance, little white powder, that came with the partying, and that actually made me feel better to drink more. I realized that I had a problem, but I was so deep entrenched in it that I had negative thoughts every time I drank at that point. I didn't want to do it anymore, but I didn't know how or who to reach out to stop it.
And you've had a girlfriend through all this.
I had a girlfriend. She, bless her soul, still has me around. She saw all the changes. She tried to help me out. She'd be like, "No, Mark, you don't need to do this." And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to go buy it. You obviously not going to stop me. It's my car, my money. Like, I'm going." So she tried very hard. She went through a lot with me. The verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, whenever I got drunk, through the charts. I mean, I would just rip into her for nothing. Got so bad that I was punching holes in the wall, kicking holes in the door, throwing things, all stuff that I don't remember till the morning after. A couple times I kicked a hole in the door without shoes. Woke up to a broken toe.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. So you would think all this would stop me.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing it did was make me feel worse and worse inside, because at that point, I knew what I was doing. I knew I needed to stop, but I couldn't. I honestly could not. And people probably say, all you got to do is just stop. Yeah. Just don't go buy any. Don't whatever.
But you have to want to do it on your own.
Yeah. And I did, but I guess I didn't. But for me, alcohol is like a drug. That very first sip gives me a rush. It just hits me to where even after one sip, I'm energetic. I'm happy. The more I drink, the happier and more energetic I get. It's like I could pull all-nighters as long as I was drinking. And it had the opposite effect. Like most people, they get, lethargic, sleepy. No, I was ready to go to a rave.
But were you using drugs at that time too?
Well, I was doing that to actually kind of mellow me down and then make me feel a little bit more sober. So half the time I could either drive someplace or I could do my work. And then drink more.
So you'd use it to sober up a little bit, to drive somewhere to get more.
Yes. Yeah. It made sense in my head.
Well, yeah, it always makes sense when you're under the influence.
Yeah. I should have learned earlier on when it started. I did get a DWI. I did get arrested. I did not go to jail. I was very cooperative. They let my girlfriend pick me up, but I almost ran into a sheriff's car head on.
Ooh.
And he was on the shoulder. So I veered off the road onto the shoulder and barely missed him. I pulled over, stopped the car, turned it off, and you got me.
Oh, well.
Yeah. I didn't contest it, didn't do anything. So.
And you still didn't learn from that one experience.
Still did not learn. So here's how crazy my mind was at the time. I had to take classes. One of the classes was every Saturday for 6 months.
Is this diversion?
I forgot what they call it in New York.
But kind of like.
Yeah, it's with addiction, mostly with drugs and alcohol, trying to whatever. And every Saturday morning, we had to do a UA, a urinary analysis. I would time it just right to where I could figure out how to drink Saturday after class all the way to Wednesday, I believe at 8 o'clock at night. And if I stopped at 8 o'clock, I would test negative every Saturday morning.
Clever.
Yes, I thought so. But so after doing all that and whatever, so when I started getting the drugs involved, drinking very heavily. I mean, I'm talking a bottle of bourbon a day, bottle of rum, bottle of tequila, like
and you
no
chased
mixers.
these with wine.
Well, I was elegant. So I always had a glass of wine, and I was doing shots with wine. Only because why mix it with anything else? It's just taking away the true taste of the liquor and adding more calories. So that was my thought. And like even absinthe, people water down absinthe. I was doing shots straight up. It was disgusting, but it seemed right at the time.
I used to take shots of wine.
Oh, well, that's like power hour.
Yeah, true.
That's power hour stuff.
Oh man, I couldn't imagine chasing hard alcohol with wine.
Surprisingly, not that bad, except for when it comes up. Disgusting.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Absolutely disgusting. So the couple of negative things that did happen when I was into my hardcore phase in my mid to late 30s, I did develop a bloody ulcer from drinking so much, and there were multiple times where I had suicidal thoughts. Not totally acting out on them. I did point a gun to my head a few times. Did put a cord around my neck more than a few times. I even tried the bag over my head a few times. I just didn't want to live anymore, basically. But it was only when I was very drunk. Other than that, I'm very good, happy.
Literally almost took your life in a selfish way.
Yes. Yeah. It changed my thoughts of, I'm worthless. Like I'm going to regret something tomorrow. I obviously probably did something today that I don't remember. Basically, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the repercussions. I don't want to do this again type, attitude. That was my mind.
Like you thought taking your life would be the only way to quit.
Yes. Yeah. And, I, at that point too, even though I was a business owner doing fairly well on the outside, everything looked great. Brand new truck, brand new car, everything good.
It's the white picket fence life.
White picket fence, smoke and mirrors. I was in such financial trouble. All my money went to alcohol and drugs. It was horrible. I mean, when I finally took my time and realized how much I was spending on drinking alone, I was between $1,500 to $2,000 a month.
Sounds about right.
Just on alcohol. Now add the other white powder stuff that's not that cheap, and it was probably $4,000 to $5,000 a month.
In
substances.
Wow.
Yep. With 2 car payments, a mortgage payment, groceries, everything, I was scraping by.
Oh my God.
Somehow, like I said, my girlfriend still stayed by my side. Maybe she thought that I was going to grow up and move out of it. She may have saw something that I didn't see. Like I said, she was there. She's there through it all. And God bless her soul. I love her to death. She obviously deserves better, but I'm working on it. That's one thing I'm working on is our relationship. I know I can't mend the past, but at least we can make it forward. So after things, So come 2002, about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, I just had enough. At this point, I already lost all my friends. My family doesn't talk to me. I did all on purpose. All on purpose. It was all me. I just blew up at everybody. Done with the world. Done with everything. Just randomly applied for a job in Washington, which is 3,000 miles away from where I was living.
Complete opposite side.
Complete opposite. So what do? Run away from our problems, right? It's not going to come with us. So I actually got the job offer. Within 2 weeks, packed up my car, moved across country, left my girlfriend back home to take care of all that mess. Out here on my own, making phenomenal money, which ended up being a big mistake. I started out really good. I was like, man, I'm dedicated on this job. There's no way I'm going to fall back into it. Well, when you live with somebody for 10 years and you have a bunch of social things that you used to do for 10 years, 15 years, and you're stuck by yourself in your own apartment, you meet friends at bars. So I
Yeah.
started going back out almost on a daily basis. Um, I did meet some good people. I thought they were good at the time, but also was just drinking my face away. Got to the point where I called in. I got drunk the night before, called into work, ended up drinking the next day to feel better. And I believe this was a Thursday or Friday. The owner of our company was trying to implement some changes and stuff. He sent an email out, and I just snapped. I replied to the email, just letting them to go how I feel about things are going, how I feel like they weren't great owners, blah, blah, blah. And I copied everyone in the company on.
Oh boy.
So when I went to work that next Monday, I was immediately terminated with rightful cause. I was a schmuck. I mean, I went back and reread it. I'm like, shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a regretful moment. So to, I guess, deal with that, I was like, man, I'm not going to the bar. That's it. I lost my job. I got to save my money. So we save our money by buying bottles of liquor because it's more expensive at the bar. So
I mean, you have a good point.
all this, it seems right. So that's after about a bottle and a half of vodka. My ex-coworker texted me just to see, hey, how are things going? How'd you take it? I'm like, I took it great. I'm freaking wasted right now.
Wasted.
Wasted. I ended up taking my gun out, and it's the first time I've ever loaded the chamber and took the safety off. Because I just lost a phenomenal job that I moved across the country for because of my drinking. To me, that was almost rock bottom. I say almost. So my coworker, I kind of told him like, hey, I'm playing with my gun, blah, blah, blah. I was joking, but I wasn't. So he called a wellness check on me. So I had 3 cops show up at my door, took all my guns away, and gave me the ultimatum of you're either going to go to jail or you got to go to the hospital. So I picked the hospital.
Yeah.
Spent 24 hours in the psych ward under supervision, released, stayed sober for about 6 months after that. I think five and a change. Ended up getting the whole Serenity tattoo on my wrist. You can see that. So I could read it every day. I was, AA meetings every Sunday morning. I was there like clockwork. Then I got comfortable. And I got a new job. Hated this job. Dreaded going in every day. And it just got to the point where my drinking increased from, I'll have 1 beer to I'll have 2 beers. Oh, now I have 4 beers because I like even numbers, not odd numbers. Then, I'll have 4 beers here, and then I'll go over here and have a couple mixed drinks. A couple shots. And it got to the point where I did the same thing. Somebody messaged me or sent me an email at the wrong time. I was already feeling like crap. So I went off, said, take this as my 2-week notice. Done. Like, screw you guys. I'm out of here. Lay down in bed. I thought I fell asleep, but I remember getting up, going to my medicine cabinet, and taking every single medication that I had. There were benzos for when I originally tried to get off alcohol for the withdrawal symptoms, antidepressants, and anti-anxiety pills. Probably between 60 and 80 in total. Downed them all with 2 shots of vodka. Went back to bed. All of a sudden, it was like an epiphany moment, like uh-oh. All of a sudden, I remember sitting up in a panic, and I'm like, there is no way I just did that. Like, and then I checked my counter, all empty bottles. So I immediately called 911. They obviously took me to the hospital. I was on an EKG machine for 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
My heart rate got so low that they had to give me a shot of adrenaline just to get that back up. And then from there, I spent the entire week in a mental health hospital.
Did they have to pump your stomach?
They didn't pump it, but they gave me this really nasty stuff that basically causes you to throw up.
Okay.
So
Like
it was, yeah. But at that point, see, the thing is, like, from the time I took the pills to the time I realized it, I don't know what the time was in between because it was all a blur. That there was hardly any pills left in my stomach. They all have already dissolved, which is why my heart rate dropped so much. I think it got down to, I think, around 20 or 18 beats per minute. So it was close.
Yeah.
So after doing that, after going to the psych hospital for a week where they literally just drug you up and you stare out a window like the movies, it's exactly like the movies. It is ridiculous. All you do is watch TV and play cards all day. It was horrible. That honestly scared me sober for another 4 months. You would think it would scare me sober longer. But once again, I got compliant. I went off my medicine again. And so in between all this, every time that I've tried to stop, when I get back on the wagon, I'm prescribed naltrexone and Antabuse. So naltrexone helps with the cravings, and if you do drink on it, you don't get the high of being drunk. You're just drunk. It doesn't really stop you from getting drunk. You just don't feel it. But Antabuse, if you drink on that, it will be the worst 6 hours of your life.
I've heard some of these are
tested it.
Okay.
I tested it with 3 shots of gin. And by the time I got the 3rd shot in me, I passed out on my kitchen floor to barely make it to the bathroom, where I stayed for literally 6 hours.
Oh my gosh.
It was brutal. So if as long as I take those, I know better to touch it. But what happens is I stopped taking them because I felt good. And it took me all the way to this very last time, about 2 months ago, that I caught myself going down the same rabbit hole I did before. And I'm almost 100% sure that my next relapse will be my last. Like, I just can't do this anymore. And I think my brain will just say, you're done. So that scares me. So when I caught myself going down that, I woke up in the morning to about 4 or 5 empty big wine bottles by my bed, a puke bucket, and about 3 empty liters of vodka and gin. I had a 4-day blackout. I don't remember anything but going to the bar to literally get chicken wings and waking up Tuesday morning, calling my boss, begging for help. And when I got this last job, I was 100% honest with him. I told him, hey, this is what has happened in the past. This is what I'm going through. I think I have it under control, but there may be a time where it comes back. It came back. And I called him up. He knew exactly the situation. And he's like, cool. I'm going to let you go right now. Don't say any more. Answer the next phone call you get. So I hung up. Next phone call. It was the HR department in our building, or for our company. Thinking I'm getting fired, I immediately downed a glass of wine to get ready for it. And come to find out, told them everything that was going on. And they go, are you willing to go to treatment? I said, yeah, like I'm beyond ready. Like, I should have done this way before. Cool. Give us a couple hours. Give you a call back.
Oh.
A couple hours later, called back and said, "You're in luck. We got a place right around the corner from you. Everything's taken care of. Insurance covered it in full."
Wow.
And I spent 21 days in treatment.
Because I remember you had commented, like, thinking that you had to leave the group because you just couldn't do this anymore. And you were just having like a really hard time. And then the next time I heard from you, you just got out of treatment.
Yes, that was my downfall, and kind of reaching out for help, but without knowing how to reach out for help. That's an ego thing where now I got rid of my ego. I checked my ego. I don't have an ego. I realized I need help, and I reached out and get it. And I look forward to everyone's, like, even on your normal posts and stuff. I love reading everyone's comments. I can relate to them, and yeah,
like Vax thanks you for sharing your story and congratulates you. I mean, like, supporting you, and yeah, we're all definitely supporting you. And that's what I had commented, and then I reached out to Zero, which I haven't seen him for a while, but we were all like rooting for you and like trying to come together to help you. Because we don't want to see you fail.
Yeah, and that's why ultimately I came back. It does take a community, and it's hard for people to understand that. Like, that's one of the difficult things that my girlfriend is grasping right now, because she's like, "Well, why are you following all these people on YouTube? You can just talk to me." And I'm like, it takes more than that. Mm-hmm. It takes more. Like, I wish people could understand how it truly feels and it affects your day. Because I'm sure the way I think and feel isn't the way people who don't have addiction problems feel and think.
Well, I mean, I've seen your comments where you were like, "This is definitely an illness. I'm
100%.
so sickened by the disease. It's ruining my life." And it definitely is a disease. And some people, like, you literally have hit. I mean, you hit rock bottom and you got help. And it's nice that your employer was able to help you and get you into treatment.
Ecstatic about that, because like I said, I don't know where I would be without doing that.
What was that? What were those 21 days like when you first got there? Like, did you have to detox? And I mean, and they really helped you through all of it. And it was like,
so when you show up, obviously you got to do a whole check-in and everything. They check you over, and then immediately they get you onto a medicated detox. So they start you out with a very high dosage of Librium, I think it is. And that stuff, you feel like you're drunk. This hallway was probably 100 feet long. I could have swore it was 1.5 miles. And my bed was at the far end of the hallway. It had to take me about an hour to get down there. You're stumbling left and right. But what it's doing is counteracting the withdrawal, like the shakes and everything. So you got to do that, take that morning and night for about 8 days, and they wean you down. And then after you're constantly, like, 2 or 3 days, you're getting your vitals checked. And this is where I found something else that alcohol has done to me that I haven't shared yet. But so you got to check your vitals every day, multiple times a day, just to whatever. I mean, they check on you in your room every 15 minutes, even throughout the night.
That's
so
good.
There's barely any sleeping because they're not very polite about it. So, but it is what it is. I was in there for help. There's other people that were forced in there, and they took it that way. Yeah. I was very willing. I went to every single class. I participated. After 8 days, you get to move to the residential hall, where you get a little bit more freedoms, a little bit more open. They only come in every hour, I believe, I think every hour throughout the night. You don't have to take the hardcore medication anymore. They're just there to monitor you and see what's going on. Well, my second week I was there, I was in residential. I got done detoxing. My heart rate was still, in my resting times, 120 beats per second.
Oh.
So somehow drinking has affected my heart to where I am now on a heart medicine that is adrenaline blocker to slow my heartbeat down to a normal rate. If I don't take it, it's a steady 110 to 120. and it'll skyrocket up to 160 at times and then back down.
So it's like you're constantly working out.
Yeah,
But
I'm constantly somehow stressed.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that is a direct cost to my heavy drinking. So I don't know if it's ever going to get better. Right now, we're just trying some medication. So I take 6 to 8 different medications a day now because of my drinking.
Wow. I mean, that should be a lesson for a lot of people, especially those that don't like to take medicine, that maybe you should, you're 40, 41?
I'm 41. I'm 41,
Yeah.
and I'm taking medications that 60-year-old people take.
Oh, yeah. I do have a question.
Yes.
From Bax.
I know I've been talking a lot.
Well, we will get to the comments when we get to them. But Vax, what made you turn to white powder and alcohol? I mean, I guess you kind of hit on the alcohol part, but
it went hand in hand with the social group I was hanging out with. Like I said, I was self-employed, making fairly decent money. It was the most I've ever made in my life, put it that way. So when you start hanging out with somehow, some reason, successful people, they get into that stuff while they're drinking.
Yeah.
And it ended up where I was just a social one doing it. If someone else had it, cool. I'll do a little bump here and there, not a big deal. To I was buying it 2 to 3 times a week. I would have it on hand. I would carry around a little vial with a little spoon in it, even to golf courses when I was in my golf league. I'd always have it on me. And I didn't think anyone knew. I don't know if anyone knew, but I'm sure people knew. It's like when I'm drinking, when I went to work drunk, I'm like, there's no way people would know. And then the next day, then the next day they're like, please don't do that again. I'm like, do what? Like, come on, we know. And I'm like, shoot.
All right. So another question: did your girlfriend drink with you, or does she?
Yes. Yeah, she partook in everything that I was doing. Maybe not to the extreme, but there. In our heyday, she had a drinking problem. I don't know if she still does. She would stay at home and take care of the house. Like basically that was her role. I was at work. And there was many times where I would come home, and if she had a bad day or something, by the time I got home from work, she was already drunk and ready for bed. So, but ever since I've been going through this, I know she's cut down quite a bit. I don't know if she's 100% stopped, but I know it's way better than what it was before.
So when she comes to, she hasn't been to visit yet since you've been out of treatment, or has she?
Not out of treatment, no. But she's been here both when I've been a drunk and when I was going through a sobriety period.
Okay.
So.
And she's very supportive, obviously.
Very supportive, yes. Yep. She just wants me to be happy and healthy overall.
That's
so
good.
She knows that, like, I'm okay going out to dinner, and if she has like a beer, I'm okay with that. It's when there's alcohol in my apartment. If I see a bottle, it's gone.
Yeah. And I think that's like kind of like where we've kind of drawn the line in our house. It's like we can go out, we can go to people's houses, but you know what? I don't want it in my house like it used to be in my house. Like I don't, like, you know what? If you have a beer here and there, that's different. But if you're going to start bringing over the hard alcohol and being like ridiculous, like I don't want that around.
Yeah,
and so
that's a huge trigger for me still yet. And even in the medication that I'm on and everything, I know I can't touch it, but I will find some way.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's a trigger as in like it makes me angry, but you're a totally different trigger as in like your brain goes like, I need that, which you definitely have to keep out of your house. And that's why I try to tell everybody, if you have, a strong disease, I mean, like a strong addiction to it, like you got to get it out of your house. Like you can't be anywhere.
Yep. I learned my mistake.
So how many times have you tried to get sober? I'm assuming Me and you. Yeah. So how many times have you tried getting sober?
Seriously, this is my third time.
Third time's a charm.
That's what I'm going with. So fingers
Third
crossed.
time.
But no,
Yeah.
I'm feeling really, really good. So I knock on wood, finally have the full understanding of what it actually does to me.
Yeah. Well, and now that your story is out to the world, it keeps you accountable.
True.
True. Yes.
True. I didn't even think about that. Oh, you got me.
I got you.
I see.
The whole world's watching you now. So I guess for me, I have only told myself I never told myself I was going to quit drinking. I guess just through 75 hard, I just decided that I was done with drinking, and then it just kept going. Like, I'm a numbers person, so I was like, okay, I can get to 75 days, and then it was 100 days, and then it was 180 days, and now I don't even know how many days. I'm just on months now. But I guess I've cut back here and there, or I'm not going to drink as much. But I never said I was going to like quit drinking all in all, if that answers your question. And we have another question. Did you quit alcohol before you quit cocaine? Which was the hardest, and what did you do both? What did you do both at the same time?
So honestly, cocaine was no problem to stop. I did it almost on a regular basis for about 2 years, and then fentanyl came out.
Oh.
And once I heard that there was a chance that there was going to be that in there, like I said, even though my mind at times was like, you know what, you've had enough, I did not want to OD and die. So I immediately just said, I'm done. And honestly, super easy to quit.
So
I'm done.
What if it came out that alcohol was going to be laced with something that was deadlier than it already is? Would that scare you enough to like never like?
You know, that's a hard thing to answer because I know it can kill me, and for some reason, I don't think it's at that level to scare me yet. If I learned that people were either spiking it or selling bad stuff that you would instantly die if you drank it, that would probably be enough.
Yeah.
But actually, probably not even spiking it because I'd be like, oh, that's a better buzz. So, no, it's bad how I did think about it and I justified my use of it and my abuse of it. And I tried to get sober when I turned 40. It was after my birthday. I thrown up in the toilet and I'm like, man, I'm 40 years old. What am I doing? I'm like, I'm not in college anymore. So it really took me until to realize that crap, I'm old or older. So.
Well, and I think like when you have an addiction or, you know, a disease, because it is a disease, you're going to try to justify using it, or, you know, oh, it's just this much, or, you know, like it'll be okay if I just have this instead of this. Like there's always a justification because you just have to find a way to get it in your system.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's the sad part is like, if you have an addiction, there can't be any justification. You just have to freaking let it go.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard. Like, obviously you've been through it, you've done it. And now you're
in and out of hospitals, had a bunch of medication, had to take medication to withdraw from it so it didn't kill me.
Oh,
so
it's terrifying. I mean, that should be enough to scare anybody into like, you know, something like figuring out their life in some way. I don't know. Did you ever do dirty substances?
So like other drugs? No.
Other drugs?
No, never touched anything else.
So it was cocaine, and then you heard fentanyl came out, and you're like, nope.
Yep. Nope.
Good.
Nope. And enough of that.
Yeah. I've been around hard drugs, and I've only seen, I think, coke once in my life, but I've never partake. I can't even take a narcotic without vomiting for actual pain.
To be honest with you, it's not even that fun. Like they glamorize it on movies and stuff. The only thing it did for me was 1, sobered me up, and 2, clenched my mouth because you for some reason it just makes you really clench your jaws and
Oh,
you don't eat. So it's great for weight loss, I guess.
weight
but,
loss sober you up.
yeah, but other than that, like there's really no fun effect to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was just one of those things that I was probably just, hey, look at me, I'm making all this money now. I
Yeah.
can do this and have these parties and
Right. Hey,
it was
James, we're glad you're here tonight too. Thanks for supporting us.
hey James.
Yeah. So listening to the story is really bringing back the some of the reasons why I quit. Just got tired of feeling like shit all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right on,
I
Shannon.
mean, how do you
Yep.
do you feel mentally and physically better like tremendously, or do you feel like you obviously have quite a few more months to go before you feel way better?
Mentally, night and day.
Night and
I'm
day?
finally able to focus. I'm not cloudy. When I wake up now, I'm awake. Like there's no getting up and doing things and tripping to the bathroom, and like, I'm instantly awake, and I'm able to follow a conversation, interject when it's the right time. So in my career, I'm a project manager, and I have to know codes for the trade that I'm in. And now when people call me, I can spit out the codes again. Like I
Nice.
remember them and I can just spit them out. Where before I'd be like, I know I saw it someplace, but I just can't unlock it. So that's good. Physically, I still have a lot of catching up to do. I lost a lot of muscle mass throughout the years. When before I did that week in the mental hospital, I was the drinking was leading up and I wasn't eating. I'm 6'3", and my body weight got down to 168 pounds.
Oh, you were scrawny.
Yeah. So my weight's back up. I'm actually a healthy 193 now, but I got to build the muscle mass again, which I can't really do any working out until they figure out what's going on with my heart.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a catch-22. So all I've really been doing is watching my eating and making sure it's good, healthy, clean stuff. I actually can't even. Yeah.
Speaking of eating, it sounds like you got into baking since you got out of
Yes.
treatment.
Yes. So to keep myself busy instead of going out and hanging out at my normal spots, when I live with my girlfriend, she loves to bake. I used to always watch her, bake and be her sous chef and everything. And I just, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. So
Nice.
a couple weeks ago, I made a cheesecake for my office. And then I'm working on some sugar cookie lemon cookies with a little bit of raspberry preserve in the middle.
Wow.
And I'm going to sprinkle that with some maybe like the coarse sugar or maybe some powdered sugar. I don't know yet, but I think that's next on the menu. I got all the stuff for it. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm going to start doing different things. And every Sunday, I love to cook. I usually make a big pot of something for the week, like a meal prep type thing for lunch. And
Yeah.
the hardest part of that is I used to always do that with drinking. Always had a bottle of wine and doing shots with it. So I'm slowly getting back into it. There's a lot of recipes I don't remember, but I know the food was good. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to reincorporate that. But yeah,
So
I'm
again,
trying to keep myself busy, both mentally and physically.
yes, that's what I was gonna say. Is like you have to stay busy, and you found a hobby to keep you busy.
Yes. Yep. One that I like.
All right, another question. Wow, I didn't know it was going to be that bad. I hope things get better, or I hope things will get better, and hope the best for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See, you got a whole entire team cheering you on.
Yeah. No, things are going well. Things are going very great. With all this, they recently diagnosed me with bipolar disorder. So they think that that's why my medication wasn't keeping up because of the addiction and everything.
Manic.
So they got me on manic bipolar now, and it's really leveled me out to where I look forward to every day.
That's good.
Yeah.
Another question. Why even drink after going through all that? I don't understand why we are programmed to keep returning to something that's just destroying us and family. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I wish I knew.
Right? I mean, I know a few people that do the same thing. They haven't been to treatment, but like, you know, like they just keep putting themselves through this horror. It's like,
I honestly could not answer that. I don't know. I wish it was as easy as a light switch, but
I mean, you going through the withdrawals, going through treatment, and
any normal person would have stopped years ago, years after. I mean, I gave myself a bloody ulcer because I was consuming so much 100 proof bourbon and not eating. So,
every time you say bourbon, it like burns my stomach. Because you just like it reminds me of the bad times.
Yeah, now I'm even at the point like watching movies and stuff. Like I'll get that little cough that I used to have before doing a shot. If I see them doing it, I'm like, oh man, I remember that. I'm like, oh,
right?
Nope.
And if you were like me, like back in the day when I'd be watching like a movie or a show and I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Or I'd see wine. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go pour me some wine. And then it would end up being like the whole entire bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Actually, was it this last time that I relapsed? I was watching, what's the making of the Godfather movie? And,
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's really cool. It's actually very nice, but man, there's so much drinking in there that honestly, by the second episode, I'm like, I'm just going to have some wines with them. I'm just going to have some drinks with them. You know, no big deal. I'm at home.
Yeah.
That was a wrong thing. So.
Yeah. Another one, keep up the great job.
Thanks, Annie.
Yeah, you get to a point where you are sick and tired of being sick and tired and feeling like shit.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. I couldn't tell you how many times I told my girlfriend, I'm done. There is no way I'm going to do this again. By 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm back at it.
Oh, it's just like miserable. I mean, it literally like James just mentioned.
It took my life.
Alcoholism is literally a disease.
It took over my life. It wrecked a lot. I'm still financially dealing with it. I make a 6-figure income and I'm living paycheck to paycheck because of my past issues.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm all for him, but when is the wake-up call to get the hell away from it? It took 40 years of my life. Well, you are 41, so
I'm 41.
You are doing, better than a lot of them that have, done 40, 60 years. I mean, there's some people on here that like 30, 40, 60 years of their life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could not imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it runs in my family. My grandfather was always a drinker, but we take that because he was a World War II vet. God bless him. Help. And they didn't have help. And who knows what he went through. You know what? He earned it. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
My father retired when he was 50. He just turned 75, and every day at 3 o'clock, he's bottle or a glass of wine. That usually leads to a bottle of wine and a couple of nightcaps every single day.
Yeah.
So it's in me. I know it's in me, and I knew it growing up, and I did think it was gonna hit me that hard and actually take over my life.
Well, we don't, like I've said in some of my other videos, like we don't realize we have a problem until we actually realize we have a problem. And then we're like, oh crap, maybe I should face that and figure it out.
I would think the DWI should have been an eye awakening, but
I know people that have several. Yeah. No, it doesn't teach people anything.
No. The next day, my buddies took me out to celebrate me getting a DWI.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
It's like people celebrating like alcoholics that have died, and then at their funeral they're gonna go drink in honor of them.
Right. Yeah.
That's
how we think.
Works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mark, if you live in Buffalo, it's a very bad place to be with alcohol dependency. I have been through a similar experience to you, and it's a hard go. Keep your head up and keep going.
Yeah. So fortunately, I live in the state of Washington now. So they have fantastic treatment centers and doctors out here that are they're willing to help you. As long as you are honest with them, they will help you with any situation you have, any dependencies, addictions, mental health. It's been a God bless that I moved out here. It's really been a lifesaver. Because if I was still in the Buffalo Rochester area, I do know my brother-in-law's mother used to be a head of a treatment clinic, but I don't know. I don't think I would have opened up because it's kind of family. I would have hit it.
Yeah, scary. What's your number? I'm down for sweets. A lot of us are in the PNW area, so I mean.
True. Right. Maybe I'll put on a little bacon show.
You look happy. I wish I would have learned early on. It's too late for me, unfortunately. It's never too late.
It's never too late.
I don't think it's
Trust
ever
me.
too late. Age is just a number, and you just have to push through.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for sharing your personal story and the honesty. It does help others. Yes, I'm very thankful that you came on tonight. Been 7 months and found Megan's channel. Biggest thing is enjoying my kids and not being hungover. Best feeling. Yes, for sure. I mean, when I'm almost 9 months sober, somewhere in there, and I'd have to say, like, I have more time with my kids now because I'm not like waking up hungover and lethargic, or just being lethargic at night because I've had too much to drink, and then they go do their own thing. It's definitely different.
I can't tell you how many Thanksgiving Day meals I've missed because I was too hungover to eat. Because I always went out the night before.
Yeah. Or you'd have to call out on Black Friday because you drank too much at Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I mean, that was me.
Crazy. Yeah. Just crazy.
You're 41 and you take medicine as a 61-year-old. You said, I think you escaped lightly. Your life was on the line. Now get a hold of the real life. Good for you. Yes.
You're right, critic. Yep. That's my plan now.
Yep. Okay, this is a good one. Are there any triggers that you need to avoid that cause the desire to drink, like certain music or places?
I haven't fallen into any yet. When I first got out of the treatment center, the meat section in my grocery store is right next to the wine and liquor section. So the first time I went in there, I did have to call my girlfriend and have her talk to me as I'm going down that aisle. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I think it's going to be, I haven't gone to this pizza spot that I go to. I used to go on a regular basis, even though they know to only serve me soda there. But I know it's going to come to the point where, I'm going to meet someone I haven't seen in a couple months and they're going to buy me a shot and I'm going to feel obligated to take it, or I don't know. So yeah, there are still triggers. I know I cannot have anything in my apartment. If I see an open bottle around me that's, unguarded, yeah, that's a trigger for me. So, but certain songs, I did have a hard time with that show. I think I just got to take it one item at a time as they come.
Right. I mean, it's like, any movie, like if you had some type of traumatic experience, like you're not going to be able to watch certain movies. For me, I mean, you're so early into your sobriety and have had such a hard time, getting here. And, those triggers, there's nothing wrong with avoiding anything until you are ready. And, like me, I didn't go to weddings. I didn't go to lots of functions because I was like, no, I don't want to be put in that situation. And, that's a boundary that I had to put up. And so I think that's good for you. You're staying away from those places that could lead you back down to maybe taking that shot, which would lead to obviously spiraling again.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what I learned from the last time that I was sober for a while. I let my guard down. So I got too comfortable in my surroundings, got too comfortable in everything. So that's why I'm taking this pretty much as a life and death situation now because of my past history. So like I said, I don't know if I have one more in me, to be honest.
How expensive is the cocktail of meds that you are currently taking?
I have awesome insurance, and it is roughly, I just re-upped, I want to say a little over $40 a month, probably. Like the real expensive stuff. So anything that treats addiction and substance use is free, and those were the real expensive ones. So for some reason the insurance that my company has, and it's actually self-insured, so they have their own insurance policy and everything, is 100% on mental health and physical health. So they want to keep their employees happy and healthy. So
Yes.
I got really blessed to wind up in this job.
So what are you? You making Give Me Hope. Thank you for being open. It's not easy on YouTube. You guys are changing lives. Yes, I mean,
I hope it does. I really hope it does. I hope nobody follows the path that I followed. Like,
or if
if
they're
you
on the path, like
right,
maybe
know
they
that you can get
listen to
out.
your story. Like, yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
you were
No,
literally putting pills in your mouth and had a gun
I
to your
literally
head,
wanted to
rope
die.
around your neck. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like,
I wanted to die. It was that bad, and I could not stop it, or I didn't think I could stop it. Put it that way.
yeah. I mean,
So
it's terrifying.
yep, I do know
So,
that it's possible. So
what is your go-to drink right now? I know that you've mentioned some things in the comments and we've kind of talked about it, but maybe you can
yep.
share for the audience like what your go-to is.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna sponsor it or anything, but I did invest in a Ninja Thirsty system. So it's kind of like a soda stream, but it has little drink pods, and you can put two in at once, so you can actually mix flavors. So you can just go in one or the other. Come in like vitamin water, energy water, just flavoring, and you can make it sparkling with bubbles or non-sparkling, and you can adjust the size, so you don't have to make a bottle at a time. So lately, I've been doing kiwi, strawberry, and lemon limeade type mixture. So a little citrusy, a little fruity.
Nice.
So,
And
yeah.
I think we kind of discussed that it's more price effective compared to the soda stream.
Yes.
I mean, obviously none of these things are sponsored because
no. I would say look it up. Don't pay full price for it. It does come on sale all the time, especially on the Amazon, which is where I do all my shopping. Not plugging that either because but it's so convenient.
I have an Amazon whatever, but
So
because
convenient.
everybody always asks me what I use, and so I'm like, we'll just start a storefront. But another question: you said this is the third time. How did you? Sorry, you said this is the third time. How did you do in the other two times? You said 6 months or 4 months?
Yes. Little over 5 months, and then just shy of 4 months.
Okay.
So it was the bigger one first. It was I think 6 months, about 5.25 first, and then about 3.5 the second time. So they got closer and closer.
I know we kind of touched base on that a little bit. So a lot of people say once you get past the 6 months, things start kind of shifting in your brain. What exactly brought you back to drinking after the 6 months?
The comfortability I had with going out and the thought that I could have just one, because everyone's out there, everyone's enjoying it. I think the weather was good at this time of year.
Yep.
So I'm like, you know what? I made a pack. Not going to touch hard stuff. Hard stuff I know gets me in trouble. I'll just have one beer, which I followed for about a week or two.
Yeah.
And then it gradually increased every single time I went out to where I ended up in the hospital.
That is what absolutely kills me is when people are like, well, I'm not going to drink hard alcohol. I'll just have wine or beer or something. Yeah. But if you have a legit addiction, like in a disease, like it literally is like your proof. It took you right back down to square one. And here you are, like now on your third time's a charm. And it does take a year to beat. I mean, that's what they say. Like once you have to overcome it a year. And
I think it's gonna be longer for me. So, but I'm willing to do the hard work. I'm on a steady regimen with my medication. I'm not going off from it this time. And I'm just gonna, if I gotta stay in my apartment or do some things that God for help me actually are healthy, like hiking and biking, I'm down for that.
So how do you plan on navigating the nice weather and all the things that like are coming up? I mean, like the nice weather brings, lots of outside things. We all used to sit out and have a drink on the patio, enjoying the sunshine. Like, how do you plan on navigating what's to come?
Well, the goal is for my girlfriend to move out here, and hopefully that still happens. And doing stuff with her. When we go on walks, we're not going to drink. I finally got better on my drinking and driving, and I really don't drink and drive anymore. I like my car for a change, and I don't want to wreck it. But
Or hurt yourself or hurt anybody else.
no. It's all about the car.
Right.
So I plan on doing that. I enjoy golfing, and I really want to finally focus on retuning my game because I've played it drunk so many times, and I was a decent golfer drunk, so I think I can do really well when I'm sober. And yeah, just go even camping.
Camping.
I did go camping after I got out of the mental hospital, and honestly, it was amazing. I was sober. I was able to fish, understand what's going on without fear of falling in the bank. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to venturing out and seeing what this beautiful West Coast has to offer.
I mean, I would definitely challenge anybody that's still drinking to go camping sober. It's like completely different. And maybe not the first time, but once you get through the first time, I mean, at least for me, I was like, I hated life and I was just a royal biznatch. But like after that, it was game changer. Sobriety and camping. I don't think I could ever. I don't see how people can actually drink camping now that I've been sober camping several times.
Yeah, you get to take in so much more than just sitting there drinking, talking about stupid stuff.
Exactly. I mean, you could still laugh around the campfire, stay up late, wake up and have a juice instead of mimosas. I mean, we packed seltzers just like we would pack Trulies. I mean, we just, put a bunch of different... Yeah, exactly. It's all about, changing out that bad habit and putting something, good in place of that. I think it's amazing. When is your birthday?
In October.
Okay. So you'll be about 5 to 7 months. Sorry, I can't think off the top of my head really quick.
I think so. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yep. Big 42.
And then going into the holidays, I mean, you have summertime.
Yep.
But it sounds like you're getting outside, kind of like what we did in the beginning is we went outside, we went on walks, hikes, went to the lake and river more. Just keeping yourself busy, definitely.
Yep. That's what I'm trying to do. Just keep mentally and physically busy.
So what would be some major points for somebody that is in your shoe, that was or is in your shoes? How can you help them get through and realize hey, maybe I should change my life, or this is actually better on the other side?
Probably the first thing I would say is if you have the thought that you have a problem, or you might have a problem, you do have a problem. Don't be embarrassed. Don't let your ego in the way. Talk to someone. Talk to someone who will listen and help. Like I said, I used to bring it up to my family, Christmas time. I'd always get the bottles of bourbon and whatever. I mean, obviously they knew I was a drinker. They didn't really understand to what level. And, I didn't tell them. I hid it from them. I hid my drug use from them. I finally opened up about it all. They accepted it. It's done and over. I'm working on it. But number one would be ask for help. Talk to somebody. Talk to your doctor. Your doctor is a prime example. They have, they can't tell other people what you discussed anyhow. So that's a perfect one to talk to.
Yeah.
If you have a loved one, do not hide it from them. They will find out and they will be angry. And they'll hold it against you for years.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely are proof that you can overcome it, and you're still so young that there's still so much life ahead of you.
Yes. And that's what I realize. I destroyed 20 years of my life easily, both mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. I'm basically 41 starting out brand new.
Yeah. But you I forgot what I was going to say. you realize that it is much better being sober.
Oh yes, yeah, and I knew that before. Even with my current relapses, I knew it. But I also knew the second I took that drink, it was downhill. I just didn't know how bad it was going to get.
Yeah. Did you? I read critics' comment, but for my curiosity, did you ever smoke, or do you smoke?
I did in my early 20s. That was another thing I could easily quit. But surprisingly, I could not smoke and drink at the same time.
Really?
Yep. The buzzes just got me way too off balance.
Oh, yeah. I have my own story on tobacco. I've never smoked, but I did a nicotine patch one time, sober,
Geez.
and
Oh.
I used to be able to do them while I was drinking, and let me tell you, never ever again will I touch a nicotine pouch, because it was worse than being drunk for me. Like, it was awful, terrible.
No, yeah, I could never mix the two. Even the other type of cigarette. I still dabble in that once in a while. It helps with my anxiety. It is legal out here, so but I could never mix the two.
Yeah.
So now I can't do anything because I got to do P tests every week.
So as we're wrapping up, one last question is, somebody asked, how many DWIs did you have?
I only had one. I don't know how I did not have more. I remember one night when I was really young, going out, speeding down the highway at about 100 miles an hour, trying to turn into my apartment complex driveway, flying over the ditch, went in between two giant maple trees that had about that much space in between them left, after my car mirrors went through it. And I sped around and parked, and luckily it snowed that night. Nobody saw anything. And as soon as the snow melted, I'm like, oh crap, they can see my tracks. But at that point it's gone. So yeah, no, I've had a lot of near-death experiences with my car that I should have, even opened my eyes. Like I remember driving and throwing up at the same time because I was so drunk.
I've done that hungover.
Yeah, I've done that hungover too. But no, I was actually, and drinking while driving, and it was a mess. I was a plain mess, poster child for this is why you don't do it. But I never had the aha moment until I seriously tried to take my life.
That's terrifying.
Yes.
Another question popped up. Did you ever find moderation to be a viable path?
There's no moderation.
No, there's not.
No.
I literally just had a podcast today, and there is no such thing as moderation. Especially if you have a disease.
Yep.
I mean, the temporary, just because you're going to use a beer to calm down and relieve yourself, you're still going to wake up and have inflammation, or maybe a headache. You're going to be tired. You can't use it even as a temporary relief, because it's not good. Yeah, no moderation.
No, I remember even friends in college, they were able to keep a buzz, and I never did that. I'd have my first drink, and I would immediately went to drunk. I didn't care about the buzz. I just wanted to get drunk.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I really appreciate you being here. Your story.
Thank you, Megan.
I mean, even if it just helps one person and changes one person's life, you changed somebody's life. Yes.
That's worth it for me. You have a great community. Thank you, everyone, for chiming in and commenting. I do hope that I did spread some knowledge out there, or at least let you know what I've been through, that maybe that can help. So, no, Megan, Jonathan, really, it's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you're in the comments, and
I'll continue.
Your story keeps helping people, and
we'll keep it going. Yeah, we'll spread the good word, and hopefully they can feel as amazing as I do right now. So
yes, we'll keep it up, and we will talk soon.
Will do.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.